It is August the 10th, 2018. We going live today. I decided to go a little live on this cloudy afternoon in the 985. Welcome to the Third Down Show, guys. I'm your host, T. Wayne the Don. It is a beautiful day to be alive. It's not beautiful outside, but it's a beautiful day to be alive. Football is officially back. On yesterday afternoon, there was games. I'll talk about some of the rookie quarterbacks that they had played last night. All of them didn't play. Some going to play between today and tomorrow. Also, talk a little bit about, we getting back into our divisional series. We're about to wrap it up. We're going to go with the NFC West on this afternoon. We also talk a little bit about, we're going to talk about the Ravens and the Bears last week. I want to talk a little bit about Lamar Jackson and Robert Griffin. Just a little bit from last week's game. I'm going to talk about Lamar Jackson, what he did yesterday. Then we're going to probably finish out this afternoon with the Pelicans. The Pelicans did sign Jahlil Okafor to a 2-year deal. Talk about what that means for New Orleans. And also, I'm going to finish out with a little words of wisdom this afternoon. And that's going to call it a day this afternoon. So let's talk once again, guys. I don't know about y'all, but I'm very excited that football is officially back. We are underway. Madden's back as well. I went and picked up Madden last night. It's better than what I expected for sure. But before, on a side note, I don't know to all my gaming heads out there, I don't know if y'all saw the new Red Dead Redemption trailer. And I'm not trying to be a spoke advocate for Rockstar Games, but the standard that Red Dead is about to set for every other company to raise their game to another level. Because let's remember, this is the first series that Rockstar is going to release on this current gen systems. Grand Theft Auto 5 was a remake. That wasn't the first game that they going to put out on these systems. They are going to take all my gaming fans out there. They about to push companies to push games a little bit higher, and that's why it's so sweet and so beautiful to play Rockstar games. And I know a lot of people, some people are not fans of Rockstar games, but when they come out beautiful. This is, to me, I think the hype around this game is going to live up to everything that I am expecting it to be for sure. So shout out to that. We'll be ready for that on October the 26th in about 2-3 months of this year. So let's go on to our subject. Like I said, I think we're going to go ahead on and start. Let's start with the divisions. Then we're going to do the divisions first. So the NFC West, possibly the most, it's a division that's kind of been on the up and coming. I actually like the division, if you ask me. The Rams, I found out interesting fact. Since they have redone the division back in 2002, the Rams have only won the division 2 times in their history. Kind of very interesting. You think because the Rams at one point in time, they was one of the better teams in this division. But I want to say San Francisco has the most. I want Seattle come behind them, and Arizona come behind them as well. And so for sure, in my opinion, I think the Rams are for sure, the team that's going to win this division this year. But are they the long-term solution team in this division? I don't think so. The long-term, the solution team in this division is the San Francisco 49ers, because what they have with Solomon Thomas on the defensive end, they also have Richard Sherman, and they also still got a great offensive line, a lot of first-round picks on that offensive line that helped out Jimmy G. I guess the biggest question that I have for the 49ers is how good Jimmy G going to excel leading his team to potentially getting into a playoff spot. I don't see them being as good as being a first-round bye team, but they for sure can be a wild card team, go play somebody on the road. What a great football team that they are. I watched a lot of them yesterday when they played the Cowboys, and it really was a good game. Played a great game. Jimmy G had one series. He went 3-0. I mean, he drove for a little while, but he went 3-0. It stalled. Probably see a little bit more of him into the couple of maybe week 2, week 3. So it's very interesting to see what the 49ers going to bring to the table. Because like I said, the Rams window, to a degree, we all going in for a championship right now. We can't pay all these guys for the next couple of years. Eventually, we got to move on. They're going to take a step. It's almost like what Kansas City did, the Kansas City Royals. They got all their pieces together, and they went for their championship right there. They got their championship right there. Now look, see where Kansas City at now. The Royals are the dumps of the MLB right now. But it's worth it to a degree if you can sell your fans that eventually every maybe 5 to 7 years, we can put the pieces together, make a run for it in 2-3 years, but we got to reload again. We got to restock. We got to rebuild. And at least luckily, I'm not going to say that the Los Angeles Rams going to come to Kansas City Royals. No, because they still got to have a lot of people locked up. But the talent level between having them Dominic and Sue, Aqib Talib, Marcus Peters, and having all these guys on that defense, you can't keep them all. It's almost like a renter's deal. Almost like, you remember Blockbuster back in the day, like you just going to rent this for the time being, and then when you finish, you have to let them go bring it back. That's what I think was going to happen with the Los Angeles Rams. And that's why I think the long-term solution, the long-term winner in this division will have to be the San Francisco 49ers, because I think they're setting themselves up to be one of the best teams in the NFC 5 to 7 years, as long as Jimmy G continues to progress and be the quarterback we all seen he could be in New England behind Tom Brady. So, what about the other two teams in the division? Well, I'll get on Seattle. Seattle got a lot of answers, a lot of questions to answers to a lot of fans. You're losing Cam Chancellor. Earl Thomas is on his diva type stuff right now. Richard Sherman is gone. You're also, Michael Bennett is a Philadelphia Eagle. The Legion of Boom is no longer really there, as we used to call it. They're not one of the feared defenses no more in the NFL. Sad to say, if you ask me, I think after they won that Super Bowl and they went back to the Super Bowl the following year, I think that's when they started to decline a little bit. They wasn't the same defense that they used to be. And I think people was taking more shots at them year in and year out. They wasn't fearing them as much as they used to. And that's the truth, if you ask me. Now they got to reload. They got to rebuild their defense with younger pieces. And I think they can. But this team right now is, to me, screaming 7-9, 8-8. Offensive line still have problems. Never really got a true replacement for Marshawn Lynch when he left. This team screams to me right now 7-9, 8-8. Now, I could be wrong, but and you never know. One thing about I realize in football, once you hit that October, November, in the middle of the season, that's when it's going to dictate your season right there. And if they find themselves in the thick of things in this division, they might have a chance. But if you ask me, I think Seattle is staring at 7-9, 8-8. I'm telling you, 7-9, 8-8. Arizona's in a whole new type of rebuild, retool mode. You got Josh Rosen out there. Like I said, he did not play yet, so I don't have no stats on him yet as this far. But I tell you this one thing for sure. I think that if you ask me, this is a team that's going to take a long time to get back to what they used to be. And, just remember about 2-3 years ago, they was in the NFC Championship game against the Carolina Panthers. And they never really shook back ever since. I think this is a long way to go for the Arizona Cardinals. I think they're going to have to reset themselves. They lost Tyrann Mathieu to the Houston Texans. They're losing some key pieces of their defense. But I think they can find a way to reset themselves. But I think they're looking at a 5-11, maybe 6-10 year. It's not looking too bright, if you ask me. Like I said, I think Seattle looking at 7-9. I think San Francisco going to really surprise a lot of people. I think they about 10-6, and I think the Rams looking at 13-3. This is my division where I think there's going to be two teams making the playoffs for sure. This is the division I'm picking to have two teams to make the playoffs. So on that note, let's move on from there. Last week, Ravens and the Bears played last week in the Hall of Fame game last Thursday, the kickoff football season again. Officially on the road to Super Bowl 53 in Atlanta, Georgia has started. They kicked it off first at the Hall of Fame game. Ravens, Bears, Lamar Jackson numbers last week was 4 for 10 for 33 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 3 sacks. He had 3 sacks. Robert Griffin numbers last week was 7 for 11, 58 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He also had 3 sacks as well on the day. What I'm trying to say is that, because they were saying how the announcers were saying that Robert Griffin was trying to fight for a roster spot. There's no doubt in my mind Robert Griffin will get this spot. For the fact of the matter is, he still is a proven veteran. He was Rookie of the Year. He brought his team to the playoffs. Actually, if he never would have messed his leg up, you know, when you think about when he played Seattle that year when Washington had the wild card, if he never would have messed his leg up, or if Kirk Cousins would have stepped in a little bit earlier to help him out, I think they should have ran a 2-quarterback system to a degree, just kind of help him out a little bit because he was already banged up. But if they never would have did that, what if they would have went on and played Atlanta? Because Seattle took Atlanta all the way to the end. What if they would have played Atlanta? Would they beat Atlanta? Would they find themselves going on to play San Francisco in San Francisco in the NFC Championship game? To get to the road to play the Ravens? Because you see Baltimore, that would be a good game. Baltimore and Washington in the Super Bowl. 2 teams that's very close to one another. Robert Griffin, one play defined his whole career. Almost like what happened with Derrick Rose with his leg injury. Got hurt, never was the same man again. Those are people that I'm pulling for in this league, both leagues. You know, Derrick Rose, I think Derrick Rose's better days are behind him. He's now just a proven backup point guard. It's crazy. MVP backup point guard in the league. But this man here, I think he still got a lot of juice left to have. And I really hope that this season, and I'm not hoping no bad injury on Joe Flacco at all. But I really hope that Robert Griffin get a chance to go out there and ball in front of the Baltimore Ravens. I think he's definitely going to make the roster. He still got a lot to prove because Lamar Jackson still have a long way to go from being a productive quarterback in the league. Now, yesterday, he went 7 for 18 for 119 yards. I know he had a running touchdown yesterday as well. And that's cool. That's fine. But what I'm trying to say is at the end of the day, this young man can't lead you to the playoffs. Not yet. He still got a long way to go. This young man can't get you to the Super Bowl. This young man can't probably lead you to about 10 wins yet. He got a long way to go. He's a work in progress. That's the thing about that draft pick, about drafting Lamar Jackson. You really got to continue to spark him up mechanically. Get him to learn how to read defenses better. Learn how to read blitzes. Communicate with his offensive line. So it's a long way from home. So I think the 3 quarterbacks for the Baltimore Ravens will be Robert Griffin, will be Joe Flacco, and Lamar Jackson. I forgot who the other guy was for the Ravens. I know it's a white guy, but excuse me, but I really don't remember. So let's talk about yesterday, some of the young quarterbacks who's getting a chance to take over for their teams. First-year quarterbacks. Now, I did put Pat Mahomes in because this is technically Pat Mahomes' second season, but it's going to be Pat Mahomes' first year on the center. Pat Mahomes yesterday went 5 for 7 for 33 yards. Josh Allen, who I just watched a couple of highlights of Josh Allen, looked real good yesterday, but all of them looked good yesterday against the Carolina Panthers. 9 for 19 for 116 yards and a touchdown. Baker Mayfield, 11 for 20. 212, 2 touchdowns on yesterday. Baker Mayfield and Tyrod Taylor looked pretty damn good yesterday against the New York Football Giants. And once again, Lamar Jackson, he went 7 for 18, 119 yards, and he rushed for 21 yards on 5 carries and a touchdown on yesterday night. So, the young talent is there. You know, I'm looking forward to see what Josh Rosen's going to do this afternoon. I think he played this afternoon or tomorrow. Rosen played one of these days. I know Sam Darnold played tomorrow, I believe. See what these young guys are going to do. Actually, next game, Josh Rosen's going to play the Saints. They're going to come down to the New Orleans Superdome on Friday. So I'm looking forward to seeing him play Friday against that Saint defense. I wonder if he's going to get some first team or probably first or second team reps next week. going forward. So got a lot to look forward to in week 2. Yeah, I mean, I'm just freaking excited. Football is back. Football.